Hello and welcome to the aForm Show, the premier podcast for all things architecture and design across the MENA region. Welcome to your tribe. Hello and welcome to the show, everyone. Today we are joined by the fabulous Nikita Chellani, associate at Roar in Dubai. Nikita has designed and delivered a wide range of projects across the region. Her work and capabilities have been recognized with multiple awards, and she is just getting started. Super excited for this episode. So without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to the show, Nikita.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Awesome. I know that we've been trying to put this together for a while, so I'm super happy that it's finally worked out.
Me too.
As a fellow Dubai kid,
yes.
I think that's fair to say.
That's very fair to say.
I want to ask about the beginning, right? It's always fun to me to hear the story about how people found their design career. So in your case, I think that's a good place to start. So how did you find interior design, or did interior design find you?
I think it's more than interior design. It was the creativity that I found. So as a child, I was always very exposed to a creative atmosphere. Growing up in an Indian family, we used to get a lot of wedding cards. There used to be a time when sustainability was not a thing, especially with us Indians.
I think as far as wedding cards go, it still might not be a thing.
At least now it's become
Yes.
So we used to get a lot of these wedding cards, which were beautiful. They were stunning, right? There were motifs, there were different sorts of papers, textures, materiality. What my grandfather would make me do was sit down and give me design tasks without me actually thinking those are design tasks. He would hand me over 20 wedding cards and 10 books. And he would be like, I want you to wrap these books with these wedding cards.
Ooh,
right?
Okay.
And I was like, I took it as a project and I was like, this is super interesting. And I was a child, that's the time when it was summer holidays. You used to go back home, you used to stay in your house with your grandparents. And I used to look forward to that every summer. And then I started seeing that, okay, I am exposed to materiality, color, texture, and composition, and I loved it, right? And that's when I realized I love doing this. Then I went to school. I was a very naughty child. My parents gave up all their hope. They were like, nothing's going to happen with this girl. Went to my mom and dad and I was like, I'm going to take arts. And they were like, no, you're not. And I was like, I will. And I did. I did what I wanted to do. And today they're very, very proud of my decision. At that time, I don't think so very much. But today they are.
I wonder what would happen.
And I think since then, since I was 16, I very well knew that I wanted to be an interior designer because I had a cousin in the industry, Pooja Shamulani, who used to work at WA at the time. And I was like, look, can I come in for an internship? And she was like, sure. I was 16 years old and I was like, I just want to see, if this is what I want to do. And she was like, 100%. That was my first interior design job.
Wow.
When I was 16.
That is fortunate.
That was very fortunate that I did have that opportunity and just seeing myself in that studio. And obviously at the time I was an intern, so there was not much you were doing, but I was creating material boards. I was, again, doing the same. It came back to my roots, right? Going back to what my granddad would make me do, creating compositions. And I was like, this is what I want to do. And that's when I decided that I never went back.
Nice. Now that you mention it, Indian wedding cards are a thing, right? They still fascinate me even today. When you get one, you get one which are kind of bling, which is one thing, but then you get some which are really well crafted and put together.
Very well crafted. And I think if you go back to that, it's also about a storytelling experience, right? It's all about narratives. It's all about what you're feeling, the experience. So interior design is one part of things. When I became an interior designer and I was professionally there, I started getting very interested in graphic design, right? So that was when I was like, look, interior design is fun, but I love being a graphic designer. And I started my own small company called Niche Designs, where I would work as an interior designer full time, but on the side, I would design wedding cards.
Nice.
I would do events. I would basically customize everything for an event. So for example, it's a baby shower, everything from start to beginning in terms of graphics, favors, everything was done by me, handcrafted. And then I realized, okay, I really love doing this. So that's when I moved ahead and I went to Italy to do my master's.
Okay.
And I did a double master in interior and graphic design.
Oh, you found the perfect degree.
I found the perfect degree in the perfect place. I went to Florence and I was like, because it was my calling. I think it was the perfect blend. Because, for example, when you're designing a restaurant, right? I wanted to be the person who can do start to end.
Right.
So I do the branding. I will decide the menus. I will decide what the space needs to look like based on the branding that I have designed.
And I suppose the branding would also feed into, I mean, yes, there's the graphics and sort of the 2D graphics, but then it could also feed into things like signage, lighting,
all of it,
staff uniforms, like all of that kind of stuff.
All of it, the uniforms, the signage, the lighting. So, for example, every project that I design now, right? The thing that excites me the most is the signage. I'm telling you, I sketch, like we were doing Jaipur Rugs over here in Dubai, and we had the whole theme of Jaipur. I went and I was like, I want these, Jaipuri girls to be the signage of the bathroom. And if we go there, it's actually that. And I sketched that out.
Nice.
And those kind of things like really excite me. So it's all about translating that culture and behavior into something that is a 3D, 2D form. That's what really excites me.
Yeah.
So it's that blend of like interior graphic design that has been my calling for forever. Yeah. And I love the fact that at Roar, we get the opportunities to do both.
Yeah. No, it is really sort of quite literally curating the experience, right? Like in all the senses even. Wherein obviously there's the visual one, but then even other things like touch with materiality and things like that.
Yeah.
Color palettes and all of that stuff. So yeah, it's really exciting. Dare I say I did have a similar sort of interest in graphics. But then I think that shortly died down once I started looking at like structural drawings. I was like, I feel like this might be a little more challenging to do. I should focus on this. I do have a bit of ADD, I think, myself, but who knows? Anyway, moving on then. So you've obviously found your calling, so to speak, and you've found a studio where you can actually thrive and explore that a lot more. So I guess my question to you is, you've been with Roar for now quite a while, longer than most people are married even nowadays. So
I hope it's not the case.
So I guess what I'm trying to ask is a two-part question, which is, what have you sort of learned during your time here at Roar? And what do you think other interior design graduates who are starting off need to learn about longevity within a studio? The reason why I ask that is because I see a lot of young graduates now, both in architecture and interior design, wherein they seem to have the notion that they need to be a director by the time they've finished 5 years of experience. And that seems normal across all of them. And I find that quite strange, naive, borderline laughable, but
I think full line laughable.
But unfortunately, that is kind of what the expectation is. So if you could speak to them and tell them about really how do you get longevity and how do you sort of grow in a studio, what would you want to tell them?
So let me answer this part by part, right? So beginning with Roar, when I joined Roar, I had a 5-year experience, 6-year experience. And I joined Roar as a mid-level designer. Yes, okay, I had creative calling. I was creative, but there is so much I did not know. And I think that development of professional skills is what really built my design ethos, right? So what I mean by that is everyone can be a great designer. Not everyone can be a great leader, right?
True.
With 5 years of experience, you'll be like, okay, I can design something that looks beautifully stunning. So because I can do this, I can also lead. That is not true. And the leadership side of things comes only with years and years of experience, which till date I do not have. No one can confidently say that they're a great leader, because I think that is every day is school day for that. Every day you're learning, you're around so many people. It's a new thing that you learn every single day, right? So when it comes to what I have learned in Roar, project management, time management.
Oh, that's a big one.
Huge one, right? And these are the kind of skills that design skills are completely different. These are the kind of skills that build you as a person, right? Client communication. How do you communicate with the client? And the most important thing, which I feel like today's generation does not have, is patience. Right? None of that can work if you do not have patience. Today, I've seen like if a client's getting angry at someone from this generation, they'll just be like, it doesn't matter.
It should matter.
It should matter. It's all about the values, the respect, the patience. Your client's always right.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might be right, but your client's always right.
Yeah.
You just have to listen.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
It's like the emotional support. So I think going back to your point of what would I like to tell the generation of today, right? Number one, it's very important to have a mentor for everybody. It is so important important. And you may not find your perfect mentor. You can't just walk around the street and go like, hey, you're my mentor. It's not, for me, Pallavi is my mentor. And I'm very blessed to have found my mentor as a person, right? Who has helped me build my skills up a lot, right? But you can find mentorship in anything. For example, follow the right channels on social media. Follow the right podcasts. Go listen to the right videos on YouTube. And then from there, you will find your own growth because those are the kind of channels that you're listening to. So that would be my main advice, just really follow the right people so that you can achieve the goals that you actually want, right? Stop just imagining that it's going to come to you. Growth doesn't just come to you. Take ownership of your growth. Right? That is one very big point. There's a book by Timothy Ferriss called Tribe of Mentors, which I would really recommend to that next generation. And the other thing that I would want to say is really believe in yourself. Because what does happen in this industry, I have faced it a lot, racism, sexism, all of it. Or there's a girl who's just on site. What is she doing? But what you need to do is truly believe in your merit. Believe that what you are doing is correct. Everything else is just noise. Because that gets to you. In this 100%. Industry, it really gets to you. 100%. Like, it puts you so down. But if you believe in your expertise, your communication and your consistency, you're going to thrive. You're really going to thrive. So I think those are the few things that really pushed me forward.
Yeah, I completely agree with all of them. Something which I keep trying to tell a lot of the younger graduates is when the student is ready, the teacher shall appear.
Yeah, exactly.
And while that may seem very hoity-toity and philosophical, it quite literally is. There's so much which you need to work on. Being a designer is one thing, sure, but the kind of things that you touched upon, which is taking accountability of your growth, being patient, these are all soft values which you can develop as an individual outside of being your design career and so on and so forth. And I think yes, that does need to be worked on quite a bit, especially with the younger grads. And I completely agree that finding a mentor is important. In my case, I've fortunately been able to have quite a few over time, and each of them have sort of left different values and impressions on me. So I think collectively I've become like this mosaic of like all these people that have sort of influenced me. But yeah, patience is a big one. Patience is a very big one.
And I think ego is also a very big one, right? Because I've worked with a few designers and they have a very strong ego. And it's not going to take you anywhere.
I think ego is kind of like
ego down.
Ego is kind of one of those, it's a very double-edged sword, because I would make the argument that to an extent, to a very small extent, you do need to have a little bit.
100%.
But it's a very fine line. It can very easily become too much.
Exactly. It's that fine line which is very important, because the minute you cross that line, drop it. None of your design skills will work. Just drop it. Like I'm not telling you to go and apologize every 2 seconds. I'm not. But if you have made a mistake, own it.
Take ownership.
Own it. That's it. And it's very hard to own it sometimes. Like people don't take ownerships of their mistakes and they just go like, no, but, like defensive.
I almost make it like a comical scene if ever I make a mistake, because I'm like, oh, wow, look at that. I made a mistake. It's been a while. Congratulations, you get the award for catching the shop drawing that didn't have the detail.
Exactly.
But
I'm just like, oops.
Oops. Whoops.
Mistakes happen. Look, it's impossible to pick every single thing up, right? And especially at Roar, we are a very fast-paced studio and we work in a very fast pace. So it's very common for mistakes to happen, right? But there's two things. There's taking ownership for the mistake and it's solutioning those mistakes.
Correct.
Right? Taking ownership is one thing, but okay, I made a mistake. What is the solution? This is the solution. So coming to your leader with that solution just makes you feel that, okay, she's made a mistake, but she's also found a way to fix that mistake, which again goes back to my point of accountability, right? Which is so important. Like, I just feel like the new generation really needs to step up in that, like just step up in taking accountability of whatever they're doing. It might be picking a mentor. It might be making your mistakes. It might be doing your work, right? Sometimes we'll give them a deadline and it's an impossible deadline. Say no. Say no. And that also is like another thing, right? The power of saying no is a skill that I have just probably learned in the past 1 year. I'm a people pleaser. I have always been a people pleaser, right? So when it comes to my professional life or my personal life, I never knew how to say no. And it would be at my own expense that I would probably work like 20 hours. I would probably then hang out with my friends for like another 10 hours. And I was like, Nikki, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, it reaches a point where you're like, the minute you can just say those two powerful letters,
No.
just say no. It just makes you feel, and now I'm not telling you guys, just guys, go say no to everything and everyone. But at the right time and at the right moment, the word no is so powerful that we don't value it enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I think especially if like yourself, and I think possibly to an extent me, I can't speak for a lot of other designers, there's a lot on your plate always, right? This illusion of, we're designers, we walk in with a coffee and then we spend an hour flipping through magazines and stuff. Never the case. If it is the case, you got a much bigger problem. But never the case. So I think sort of that whole time management thing, one of the key things, yes, is being able to say no. It is something which I've also recently started. Very difficult, especially when it is from people who you know. If it's like a PR thing where you know that you should do it and they're expecting you to do it, but you look at your timetable and you're just like, I can't even do 30 minutes. I'm so sorry. I just cannot. No.
Yes. You see, it's like a song.
Yeah.
We should make a song out of this. It should get famous in this podcast.
Yeah. No.
Yes. No, but it is very important, right? And obviously you shouldn't misuse it also, but I think it's a big part of things.
Interesting.
And when you say the whole PR thing, right, that's another very interesting point that I do want to touch on. I don't think the generation also understands the importance of showing your face out there, right?
Yeah.
The networking part of things is so important. It's like I was touching this topic with a few other designers, and you need to push them now to go for events. Before, when we were younger, I used to love going for events. I was like, whoa, free food, free alcohol, let's go chill, hang out.
Exactly.
It's a party.
I was the guy who was like, listen, if Alan can't go, then someone else can go.
Exactly.
Like I was that guy.
Exactly. And now it's like we're literally like pushing people to like go for events. And I'm just like, that's one of the most important things to get your face out there. Like your job is one thing, yes, but going out, meeting people, it's a huge part of the job. Yeah. I think this again comes down to something which I'm quite passionate about, which is communication, but specifically non-digital communication. Yes.
I think there's just the other day, I was speaking to one of my colleagues and she was kind of telling me about, like some suppliers who like weren't getting back over email and things like that. I'm like, pick up the phone and call them and say, I need the sample tomorrow. If not, I'll go to someone else because I have a deadline. Oh, but can I just email them? Can I just WhatsApp them?
Nobody likes to pick up the phone anymore.
I'm like, just pick up. It's a 1 minute conversation and you can move on and meet your deadline. No, I'll try one more time. I'm just like, wow, people just don't like analog communication anymore. No. And the same thing with events. I'm like, if you go out there, you'll actually meet other designers, you'll meet other suppliers in person, and you'll actually, even if you don't think about design, just think about selfishly yourself. The larger the network you have, the more options you have when it comes to different projects and so on. No, lunch and learns are fine. So it is something which I kind of struggle with also, unfortunately. Interesting. So I want to then ask, given the range of projects that you've done, right? Obviously, they're quite wide, quite varied across multiple sectors, verticals, etc. What I like to ask is, if you can be truthfully honest and transparent, could you share a couple of key learnings which you think any designer, be it junior, mid, senior, any designer could benefit from? Something which, when it happened to you, you said, if I just knew that one thing or something, it would have completely changed the project or even something else. So I think the one thing that I'm definitely going to bring up, the first one is coordination. Okay. So coordination makes or breaks the design. When you say coordination, you're saying across multiple disciplines. Across multiple disciplines, right? So a great design is going to fail without technical alignment. Yeah. And this is more for like juniors, even till seniors, right? Yeah. So what happens is that we'll design a space without fully thinking about, okay, the ceilings, the ACs, the joineries, this, that. Like we'll just be like, okay, and then you go to site and it's Mickey Mouse. And it's a key learning. Like for me also, I've made those mistakes and I was like, oh, damn. True. Like sometimes, small example, like we'll design a piece of joinery, but we'll design a cove ceiling and then we won't realize that the joinery is going up to the cove. And then there's, like there's so many these small technical things, which I think the most important thing to realize is that everything that you put on paper in 2D is not just a line. Yeah. 100%.
Every line that you draw
Has some meaning and some value.
has some value.
And someone is going to action it.
And somebody who does not know what they're doing is going to draw that line on site.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
It's true. Once by mistake, I pencil lined something on a drawing.
Oh, no.
It was on site, the same pencil line. And I was like, oh, no.
I appreciate your attention to detail.
I know.
But
I really wish you did pick that up. No, but that's a huge learning, right? Because especially when you're checking shop drawings, you need to make sure that every single thing, and do not ever trust your eye only. It's your eye plus someone's eye plus someone's eye. Always quality check, right? That's like a huge key learning for me throughout projects. And I think the other one is, like I said previously, the client is always right emotionally, right? Never dismiss or argue. Don't argue with them. Listen first, respond very calmly, and document everything.
Oh, that's a big one.
That's a very big one. If it's not on email, it did not happen.
Yes, that is a big one. The number of times I wish, if I had just minuted that one statement.
That one statement. So this is what I've started doing. You call me? Okay. I'm going to type it down. And my colleagues keep laughing on me. She's there like, you're the email robot. I was like, I have gone through crap because I have not been the email robot.
Yeah, because, I kind of went on good faith.
Yes.
And they were not so good.
So I think that's a huge learning for me, right? Because at the end of the day, it does come down to the company's expense.
100%.
Because the client must have said, for example, a deadline, a small example. I will call them and I'll be like, listen, I can't meet the deadline for the Friday. Can I please give it to you on the Monday instead? Yeah. Okay, no problem. I did not document it. And then when I emailed on the Monday, fine, I sent it, happy. Then when someone's invoicing it, you guys are late.
Yeah.
But
been there.
And then, but he said it's okay,
No, it's true.
That's when it's so important.
Yeah, I think as designers, something which designers don't understand is, as designers, we are accountable to non-designers.
Yes.
I think that's a big thing, which many people don't get.
No.
Because, as much as we love an accountant, right? Everyone does, I suppose. They make the bills go around. But an accountant doing his job is quite literally, in that example, going to simply ask internally, when was it due? It was due on a Friday. We got it on a Monday. And they're kind of doing their job, if you think about it. But yeah, that entire communication line is important to establish, especially in the beginning of a project, even, I would think.
100%. So we have started the system now where we have a dashboard and we put all the deadlines over there. And if something is to move, we move that around, only because then the designers know when they're submitting, the accountant knows when they're going to invoice. Everyone is on the same page then. And I think that system really helps manage expectations also in terms of submissions. Because if we know that a designer has committed to this date for a submission, then we don't commit to too many more submissions during that date so that the studio doesn't get too busy.
Right.
So I think that sort of system has really helped us in the past few months. And my third point would be another learning would be, again, patience. That's key for me. Nothing happens without time and patience, right? Revisions are part of the process. It happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. I'm smiling because I'm remembering an episode that we did with Amr.
Of course.
One of our funnier episodes, I would say.
Hi, Amr.
Shout out if you're listening.
Shout out.
But he had something, it was said very casually and very comically, but it was so profound, where he was like, listen, we're designers.
Yeah.
We're not saving lives, right? Let's take a minute, really think things through. Yes, there is a rush. Yes, there's a deadline, but no one's going to remember a week late submission once that project works flawlessly.
Exactly.
No one's going to remember but you were late by 1 week during your schematic design. No one's going to remember that. Only the accountant will remember that.
You.
But I think what he said was, in the larger scale of things, it's not that serious, and it is much really more important that the thing works more than anything else. Yeah,
exactly. Because at the end of the day, that's the quality you're putting out there. If you spend an hour more to do a task but do it perfectly, that's what you're giving out there. And this is why I try to we had a client recently telling me, we have a very strict submission. I need 5 renders to be done 24 hours. And I laughed. It was comical. It was it was so funny.
Because we just blink and render show up.
It's AI, I'm robots, and like, I'm designing and blinking renders out. And then I laughed when he said that. And I was like, you're an architect.
Yeah.
What are you asking for?
You should know better, man. Come on.
You should know a bit better.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I know. But I was like, just give me time. And then he gave me time and then we gave it and he was so happy. And I was like, that's all we need.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you just also, that's when it comes to communication skills. This goes back to my soft skills, right? Communication skills, project management skills, client communication. It's how you manage the expectations of a client.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes the client can say something like this and it can stress somebody out.
100%.
Yes, I can laugh about it and I can talk to him with confidence and I can be fine with it. But if it was not me and if it was someone else, they would be stressed.
Yeah.
And they would be like panicking.
Yeah. And that never leads to anything good.
That doesn't lead anything good. But reaching where we are also comes with a lot of experience, which is why after 5 years of experience, I wouldn't be able to do that previously, right?
True.
I think it's all about learning the correct soft skills. It's not just about design skills.
Yeah. I think again, it kind of goes back to communication. It goes back to even subtle things like tonality of voice, body language, like
body language.
There's so many soft skills which designers should pick up for their own benefit, which is awesome. I mean, they should pick it up rather. There was a time where I was briefly client side. Briefly, I went to the dark side. I came back to the light. But one of my key takeaways from there was we had this sort of VP of design and he was kind of like just cribbing about, we work with so many interior designers and architects and, they're always very scope oriented. And, sometimes we just need an extra render to show an investor and, they make such a big deal of it. And I'm like, I have a solution, which is not going to cost you anything extra, but I'm sure it'll work. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, moving forward, if we're working with a designer that we've worked before, give them the project and just do two things. Which is don't negotiate their fees and pay them on time. Just these two things, which contractually you are going to do anyway, right? But make it a point to not negotiate their fee and to pay them on time. And when I say on time, if a concept design is due on Monday morning, it's due, presented on Monday morning, Monday afternoon, the check is handed over, right? That's all we have to do. He's like, no, that's not. So that's not going to work. I'm like, trust me. Right? Yeah. So we did it on one project. Believe it or not, the minute we reached schematic, right, on their own free will, the designers were like, hey, you know what? So we know that the scope was this and we know that in concept we did this, but we feel this could work better. And here's a whole other different option with 10 extra renderings just for you to consider.
Wow.
And I went and gave it to them and they were like, how did they do that? I'm like, a designer that values you, if you're a client that pays on time and they know that you respect design, you are at the top of the list in the studio.
100%. That is such a good point.
You are literally the top, like they will pause other projects.
Just to get that done.
Just to get that
done. I agree.
And all you have to do is pay them on time. That's it. Nothing else.
But that's how businesses work, right? Like the minute when you go to a shop, you buy something, right? You pay them, you get what you want.
Exactly.
You're happy.
Exactly.
It's the exact same thing.
Yep.
The only problem is because it's a service-based industry, people think it's okay.
And it's a service-based industry over very long periods of time.
Exactly.
That's the issue. Yeah. So I found that insight really interesting. And I was like, that's all it took. That's all it took. It didn't need coffees. It didn't need letters of recommendation, nothing. It just needed, we're fine with your fee, start. You'll be paid exactly when you finish.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. Moving forward at this point of the episode, I like to look forward. We've obviously established that you're a rock star designer, like without doubt, right? Without doubt. So it's curious to know for me, what is next for Nikita? What are you sort of working towards? What kind of projects do you want to be on? Is there something that you want to learn or pick up? Anything like that? What's on the horizon?
So for me, in the design industry, and you know this very well, there's always a lot of hop, skip, and jump with companies.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
You know that. I feel like everyone's always rotating.
Yeah, I'm like, weren't you just with that studio?
Yeah, I thought,
okay.
What's happening? After I came back from Florence, I manifested working with Roar. When I was in Florence, it was 2019 and Pallavi was showcasing with Artemisia at the time, her light. And I was like,
oh, I remember that one.
The wave one. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had it in our office. Yeah, and I was so proud, right? And I was telling all my friends, this is a designer from Dubai. And they were like, okay, but I don't think they got it.
Yeah,
right?
they're like, what is it Dubai?
What? what are you saying? And I was like, no. And at that time, I was like, I really want to go back and work with Roar, right? And I, touch wood, manifested it, came here. I found my place, right? I started here as the mid-level designer, and it's been 5.5, 6 years now, almost. Actually, January, I touched 6 years.
Ooh, congratulations.
Which is, yes, thank you very much. I'm an associate now, and I feel like I have found my place. Right. And I think that just makes me feel so full as a designer that I don't need to do that move anymore. Yeah. Right. So for me, what would be the next steps would be obviously to grow within the firm even more, help grow the firm, not just myself, but help grow the firm also, be it locally, be it internationally, continue being the right hand of Pallavi, help her, and just find myself go up the ladder within the space. And when it comes to projects, I think I have already been very diverse with my projects. So I just completed with Roar a hotel in Morocco. Ooh. So that was very interesting. I was on that project for 5 years, and we're just delivering. So it's like a baby's getting delivered. 5 years later, not 9 months later. And we did retail, which was Jaipur Rugs here and in Bombay. And I do a lot of offices. So I think in terms of project diversity, I've already hit that. And I love that, right? So I want to continue doing what I'm doing. And what I would really like to incorporate is some sort of like, which is in the talks, like, how can I bring more of my graphic skills in, right? Because I love event planning. I love doing this. So like, how can I bring my passion, my side passion into the business? I don't know if we start something together or, so that's something that I would see myself doing for sure. And also when it comes to education, I'm great when it comes to design and all of this, but the business side of things is a bit like, that side of the brain is a bit like low. So that's something I would really want to get sharp on. Like, I don't know if it means doing an MBA or, you know, just studying some more in terms of leadership, all of those skills, which we touched upon on. There are courses on that as well. So I think developing now more as like a business instead of just an individual is what my goal would be.
Interesting. That is a very well thought through and a very mature response, I must say.
No, I just want to like get married and party.
Well, there's no reason why that can't happen also.
That is going to happen. That's going to be a big part of it.
Awesome. That is very interesting. And I think I was talking to another designer about this. There's something about, dare I say, our level of designers, right? So not too senior yet, but not exactly junior either. If you've spent a certain time in Dubai, I think a lot of us are really now exploring, and there's maybe a whole other side topic actually, which is I found that successful designers tend to have so many other passions. And I think in our generation of designers, we're actually able to follow that passion also to an extent.
Like you.
I would put myself on that list, yes, wherein while I'm an architect and associate at MKD and we do architecture and so on, the podcast has now become its own sort of thing. I can think of Marco, for example, who obviously rockstar designer with Keen, but now also has Lazar, kind of, you know, a whole other different vertical, not even
brownies and croissant.
Not even, you know, like within the design field.
Yeah.
But and now you with, you know, your whole sort of graphic design sort of thing on, you know, on the back burner, which would, I have no doubt it will become reality in some way or form. But that's really interesting. What do you think it is that we're doing which allows us to do that? Because I'm pretty sure before us, people had the same thing. And I'm pretty sure designers who are now graduating also have the same thing, but you don't see them implement it a lot.
I'll tell you, I think there's two things. I think one is that we are truly passionate about it and we want to push the boundary to make sure that it happens. The second one, which is the most important one, is the support system that we have, right?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
For example, your boss, my boss, Marco's boss. Let's take these 3 examples.
Yeah.
They want to see us thrive.
True.
Right? And they support us with everything that we want to do. With your podcast also, with Marco, same with me and Pallavi, which is so motivating, right? And Pallavi has always told me this, just because you have a 9-to-5 job should not mean that you do not do what you love.
100%.
Because you're never going to be happy otherwise. You know, you're always going to feel like I'm going to work because I'm going to work.
Yeah. It's a thing that I have to do.
It's a thing that I have to do.
Yeah.
But I never feel that. There's never a day in my life when I'm like, yeah, okay, some days you're cranky and, you know, you're like, I don't want to wake up.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like I don't want to work. Like for me, when I come to this office every single day, I'm happy and like, it feels amazing because I'm getting to do what I want to do. And I'm also getting to do what I want to do after, you know? know?
Yeah.
And if I have like an idea or something that I want to do, I go up to Pallavi and I share it. And she gives me the exact correct advice on if it will work, if it will not work. And it's the same with you. You've spoken to me about this, about your podcast, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing. It's the fact that we're not scared
True.
Because fear is a big thing. People think a lot of things and they go like, if I say it, then it's going to come out wrong, right? Or it's people are not going to accept it. Or like, I think the most important thing is to just get rid of that fear and truly believe in what you're passionate about. It can go super wrong.
Yeah, it could. And I think the fear is, I suppose, a good way to overcome it is to think that if it is a no, for example, if it is a no and no, you can't do it, that's fine also. You can, at least you tried. At least you tried.
Yes.
And if it didn't work out, it didn't work out.
It didn't work out.
But to sort of have this, what if I had just done that, and what if I could do this? You just live in this sort of fantasy world.
For me, that kills me more.
Yeah.
Like even like personally, for example, if I've had an argument with someone, I will not keep it to myself. I'll just be like, hello, what happened? Can we just talk? And they're like, this girl is mad. But they appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to keep it in me. I'm just like,
true.
Why am I putting all of this extra energy in myself when I can just like, and you're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like your self-passion, right, I think you should just pick a goal and actually start doing it. And that's when you're going to feel very full, right? So show up, put yourself forward and prove yourself. There's nothing wrong in that.
That is very motivating. If anyone listening, if you're a designer, I'm assuming you're a designer because why else would you be listening? But I assume you are a designer. And if you do have another passion, be it cookies and croissants, or be it podcasting, or be it graphic design, hopefully this should motivate you to sort of at least give it some more thought and chase it down. And you never know, having that conversation with your leader might actually make it a reality, but it could even push you down a different path. And you never know where that could lead.
100%.
So shout out to awesome bosses.
Shout out to awesome bosses.
All right. So as we wind down the episode now, we have a bit of an aForm tradition, which is just a bit of fun to sort of end the episode. Not too serious, but sometimes it does become quite serious. So basically what it is a question that's been asked by a previous guest to the next guest, not knowing who they are. So the person who asked the question doesn't know who's going to get it. The person who receives it doesn't know who asked it. And just to make things completely random, awesome Joelle jumbles these all up and we kind of just pick one out for you.
Fun.
So off late, there's been a bit of a trend where they've been quite silly. So we'll see what you get. I get a silly today.
One.
We'll see what you get today. All right. So let me see. What do we have today? Ooh, oh, that's a bit philosophical. Okay. That's like, it's a big question. Okay, let me read it out to you. So, all right. Your question is, what is a small everyday habit, reminder, or practice that keeps your creativity alive amid the pressures and realities of delivering projects? So, what is a small everyday habit, reminder, or practice that keeps your creativity alive amid the pressures and realities of delivering projects?
I have a very, very, very perfect answer for this.
All right. Look at that. It all worked out. This is not staged, gentlemen.
Do not worry. And this is my everyday motto. Guys, please listen to this. Good vibes only. That Hakuna Matata, I even have it tattooed on my body. Hakuna Matata. Don't worry, be happy.
Wow.
This is literally my motto. I come to the office with this super positive energy every day and I was like, guys, good morning. And that keeps me going even though I'm dying inside.
Good vibes only.
Good vibes only. That's actually like my motto in life.
Nice.
And even when I'm stressed or like I see people who are stressed, I think just one smile can change anybody's mood.
Yeah.
Anybody's mood. So if I see someone stressed, I just go give them a hug, smile, and like I get the same when I'm stressed. And I think it's all about the good vibes. For me, it's that.
Yeah. No, I think humor is very underrated, I feel. And I think I get labeled sort of the office clown quite regularly.
Me too. You can tell.
Because like if I see someone struggling and they're like, really like frowning on, an Excel sheet or something, I'd be like, hey bro, why so serious? And suddenly they'd be like, huh, what? I'd be like, relax, man, it's just numbers, bro.
Yeah.
But like, you don't get it, man. But at least that sort of tension is broken and they kind of are allowed to realign and focus.
Yes.
But yeah, no, that's true. Good vibes only is a good actionable insight.
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, I think that's a good high to end the episode on.
I think so.
And needless to say, I think if anyone's listened to it, this has been one of our more fun episodes, I would like to say. For anyone who wants to get in touch with Nikita, we'll have a couple of contact details in the show notes below. Feel free to reach out. And I have no doubt we will have you on in the future again.
Thank you very much.
Probably for whatever, it might be a graphic design thing. You never know.
You never know.
And on behalf of the show, I'd like to thank you for giving us your time. I say it almost like an anthem now. The show is only possible because of people like yourself.
Thank you so
donating
much.
your time and making the show possible. So thank you so much for that. And for the rest of you guys, we will catch you guys next week.
Thank you so much for having me, Alan. This was so much fun. And guys, I hope you have a wonderful day.
Awesome. Good vibes only.
Good vibes only.
Fellow aFormer, thank you so much for your time. If this episode added any value to you, please share it with anyone who may benefit. If you want to carry on the discussion, please get in touch with us over socials. We are at aForm Show on the gram and hello@aform.studio on email. That is at aForm Show on the gram and hello@aform.studio on email. Until next time, stay inspired.